All right, thank you everyone for joining. I think we should go ahead and get started. Thank you for attending the info session today for the 2024 edition of the MTD2 200K Challenge. This is the 13th annual global competition, so we're really excited to be here today and to share some information with you. I think we can go to the next screen. So by way of introduction, I am Marianne Picard, the Executive Director for Innovation. With me here today is my colleague, Alexei Teague, who also runs the BARDA program for UMass Lowell and MTD2. And then with us as well, you'll hear from everyone again after, so I'll just do quick introductions. Also, you'll be able to hear from Molly Shutt, who is a Senior Product Development Engineer at an MTD2 resident company, RevBio, as well as a past awardee of the program. And last but certainly not least, we have Uros Kuzmanovic from Biosensate, who will also share his experience. He's the CEO of that company. He'll also share his experience with the 200K Challenge as a past winner. And really thankful to both of you for being here, taking the time to be here today and to share your experience. Really appreciate it. All right. So MTD2, as you may know, it's an incubator program that falls under UMass, both UMass Lowell and UMass Chan Medical School. We are a joint program across both campuses. We have 3 physical lab facilities, 3 locations, 2 in Lowell, 1 right on the campus of UMass Chan Medical School. And we also have a number of government programs and other programs that startups, whether you're a resident company or not, can take advantage of. And that's what you're seeing on the screen here, funded by the NIH, is our Center for Advancing Point of Care Technologies. And these are specific to heart, blood, lung, and sleep disorders. And that has its own competition as well that we're not going to cover today, but just so that you're aware. You're also a member of the DRIVE network under BARDA. And Alexei is the program manager and can answer any questions and provide any information around that. But in the interest of time, we'll move on to focus on the 200K Challenge. We are incredibly fortunate to have corporate partners behind this competition. As you can see here on this slide, we have Asahi Intech, we have Bayer, we have Hologic, we have Johnson & Johnson MedTech, and we have Amgen in the industry partner spaces. And then also at a high level of sponsorship, we have NPR, who has expertise in product development. We also have Mintz to cover all legal aspects that a startup needs. And again, BARDA, as well as our CapCat program, round out the challenge sponsors. And of course, we have our founding sponsor, Massachusetts Life Sciences Center. We wouldn't be here without them. So a huge shout out to MLSC. We're thrilled to take the time today to announce, just confirmed, is a $50,000 cash prize from the Mass Life Sciences Center. We've been fortunate to have their support with this $50,000 cash prize award for the past several years. And it does not have to go to one winner. They will make the decision as to who this cash award goes to. And then additional partners who will provide in-kind awards are Inertia, Benet Studio, Point32 Health, and Prime Path MedTech. Good. I think Kelsey will share a video from Illuminate, who was a 200K Challenge winner. Kelsey?
Yep. Let me know if the audio comes through.
So please join me in congratulating
all of the great minds that come out of the Boston area, and kind of seeing it in one place really got me really excited about the life sciences, of course. So it is a very exciting experience. This award is huge for us. It really go a long way towards making this a reality.
Good. All right. Now we're going to hear from, first, let's hear from Molly, and they're going to cover the areas that you can see the questions here. But first of all, Molly, how was winning the 200K Challenge helped your company? What progress have you made? Any advice you'd like to share? And and expectations that you would like to share with new applicants.
Yeah, so first, thank you guys for having us on this webinar. It's really cool to be here. I would say winning the 200K challenge on a practical level was definitely a validation that we're heading after some of the right projects. We have a bone adhesive that can be applied throughout the body, so knowing really what to focus on is huge just in terms of strategy, and basically winning that helped us focus, okay, here's where we want to go in some of our future projects. And then just the actual prize money will help with feasibility development. We get a lot of our funding from grants, NIH grants, and in order to actually get there, you have to present feasibility data that this is a workable project. So filling that gap is extremely important for us. As far as advice, I would say don't be too nervous. I am a product development engineer. I am not the CEO of the company. I was very, very nervous to actually get up there and present in front of everybody. And a big takeaway for me was just that you don't know what you can actually be capable of unless you actually go for it and try. So I think had I won or had I not won, it would have been an amazing experience just presenting an idea, pitching it, getting feedback. I think you can expect everyone there to be very, very good at giving you feedback and advice. Even after the pitch, people were coming up to us and giving us ideas or pointers, and that was extremely helpful, especially for a young engineer, to just kind of hear, hey, you did this awesome, but here's where you could improve your pitch later on. So that was really, really helpful. And I would definitely say that the coaching sessions were invaluable. Again, I had not really pitched anything before, so just being able to present my pitch in a friendly, simple audience and get feedback on here's what you need to focus on, here's where you can lighten up some of the text. That was extremely helpful before the actual night of the pitch. I don't know if I should keep going through the questions or take a break and we can hear from Euros on his thoughts on these.
Sure. Why don't we hear from Euros along the similar vein, and any experience you want to share with actually the application itself as well would be helpful. But thank you, Molly, and we'll be back to you.
Yeah, great answers, Molly. And first of all, I want to thank the M2D2 crew for having me back on. It's nice to be on with you guys and share some exciting news here. I'll touch upon the first 3 points. Winning the 200K challenge has been tremendously helpful for our company and moving forward. Just to give some background and a kind of overview of what we do. So Biosensate is creating novel biosensors, and we're really sensing beyond glucose. So for things like hormones, neurotransmitters, and other markers. And one of our first applications actually women's health. And so we're putting to market a progesterone biosensor to really help women assess fertility health and improve chances of in vitro fertilization. And so we are super lucky that M2D2 has a fantastic sponsor in Hologic, which is actually a large women's health company, and that was really helpful to speak to them to get their insight and basically get their feedback on our work. I just want to touch upon a number of things. So I think the biggest benefit of participating in this is really being part of the M2D2 community. It's just been a wonderful resource for us as a company. So one of the things which I didn't expect was the continuous follow-ups and asks from the M2D2 team on how they could help us, whether that's hiring or intros to investors or feedback on our regulatory how we're getting our product to market. So they've always just been checking in and being an immense resource for us. So it really felt like we had an extension of our team with the M2D2 folks. So I'm super grateful. So I actually participated in, I believe, 21, and I won the second place prize there. And then I participated again the next year and won the first place prize. It's been helpful in terms of winnings as well. So for example, I got a in-kind award from the NPR crew, which might be on this call. And so they were really helpful to do a product development timeline for us. And they did basically an assessment of how we can get to an alpha prototype, a beta prototype, and how we can basically get to market and think about regulatory hurdles along the way. And that was super helpful because it put a framework for us on basically timeline and costs and all the different components that will be needed for our product to get to market. And so that I could then go to investors and say, hey, look, this is the timeline, this is the projected resource that we'll need. Also with Hologic, I was able to get an internal regulatory review of our technology. And so that was actually really helpful as well. They basically looked at our tech and advised us on how long we would need to go through FDA for, and basically which type of regulatory approval we would need. And huge shout out to MLSC. They backed us. We had that 50K prize from them. And so that was actually really, really helpful. Because it's cash, it allows us to have flexibility on spending. And they're just a wonderful team. And at that time, we had a NSF STTR phase 1. So it's a government grant for commercialization. And just having that supplemental money and funding allowed us to bridge our work and have additional resources to meet all of the requirements that we had. Really, really excited to actually announce, a couple hours before this, I was just notified that we got a SBIR phase 2 award. And this is kind of the first few folks that I'm sharing this with. It's really exciting. And honestly, I couldn't have done it without the M2D2 folks and the MLSC supporting us without their support. So super, super thankful.
Wow, that is huge news, Euros. Congratulations. Really, really, really thrilled to hear that. And we're happy to amplify that messaging. And you can just let us know how to go about that separate from this call. But Molly, do you have anything you wanted to add?
I think I would just second what Euros said about the support from M2D2, everything from within the actual 200K challenge. If you have questions, Alexi and you were extremely, extremely responsive, and just figuring out how to go about the pitch. But then in general, just being in that space has been incredibly helpful to us with being a small company and trying to do a lot of projects. Just the access we get to the M2D2 community is huge.
Awesome. Thank you both again. We can't thank you enough for being here and for taking the time and really sharing this information. Incredibly helpful. Good, and I think we can go ahead and move on. I just wanted to highlight something that Euro said, that he did pitch two different years, and that was acceptable because there were meaningful differences in the two applications. It was not just repeating the original application again. So
right.
just to make that super clear. But we can go ahead and move on now. I think we covered all of that. So who should apply? So researchers should apply. Early stage startups can apply. The key here is to make sure that there is intellectual property behind the technology that you're applying for. We don't want to risk any disclosure issues, and we want to make sure you're only sharing non-confidential information. So those are two really important points to take away. But we are looking for our partners in this program, are looking for academic researchers coming out of institutions anywhere. There's no affiliation with UMass required. So as long as there's IP behind it, please go ahead and apply from literally anywhere. This is a global competition. You don't have to be US based. And why should you apply? I think you heard that best from our two guests who were willing to share their experience. So that you can advance your technology, you can make meaningful relationships, partnerships, potentially win some in-kind awards, possibly even a cash award. And then stages of development, our sweet spot is definitely early stage. But that, I mean, we have also seen people up to, at times, up to Series E because they've made some sort of pivot or some sort of change in their plan or in their solution. So they are looking for additional support. So don't hesitate to apply based on any stage that you're at. And then what does 200K challenge, 200K in in-kind services mean? It really exactly as it implies. These are in-kind services from our partners in order to move your technology forward. It's really that simple. And what happens is it's a very curated one-on-one process. If you are an awardee of an in-kind prize, you'll meet directly with the entity providing the award to figure out where the gaps are and how they can best help. And then you decide that between you, and we get out of the middle of that. So really just a matchmaking, and then you take it from there. I think we can move on. So the 2023 winners. Okay, we have another highlight reel for you here. Kelsey? I'm not hearing any audio. I don't know.
The event is sort of the
Can you hear the audio?
Just for a second, I did.
Okay, we'll see.
buildup of the entire, the event is sort of the buildup of the entire M2D2. So to see it grow over its 15-year period, this is 11 years of the competition itself. And so not only are you seeing the number of applicants increase, but the quality has been amazing. And to see our faculty and staff and students be able to get more involved over time has been tremendous for the university.
I'm very happy to be here. I'm excited to pitch, excited to meet other people who are here to pitch as well, seeing what they're doing and hearing what their journey is. And so it's a great environment.
Good, thank you. I think we can go to the next slide. Again, these are the sponsors who will be providing some of the in-kind awards. Overall, if there was a common theme that runs through the in-kind awards, it tends to be around product development and regulatory support, particularly if someone feels like their technology is in scope for one of the large companies, such as Amgen, for example, and they might have some specific regulatory perspectives. So that's really how that tends to shake out. And then in the product development side, there's nothing quite like refining a prototype to have a working, a high fidelity working prototype as you approach potential partners. So those are the two main themes. That's not to say that that's where it will land, but that's just some examples. And the same thing here with the additional in-kind prizes. I know Prime Path MedTech is most involved in the regulatory aspect of moving innovations forward. Point 32 Health is really behind who's going to pay for this. Will it be covered by insurance? Will it be, how is it going to, will it be a consumer product? Will it be another way of becoming a business and producing revenue? And then Bene Studios is also more wide in scope in terms of telling your story, getting the word out, partnerships, and every other aspect of moving it forward. So we can go ahead and move on. So the biggest thing that makes an application a winning application to be selected as a finalist who will pitch live is really to be in scope for the solicitation. So you really want to read through it and see the different partners and exactly what they're looking for. And they're looking for a strong application. You've thought through what revenue could look like, and most of all, you're in scope for what they're looking for. So you can see here, J&J MedTech has laid out their areas of interest for the competition, and you can read this in more detail through the solicitation itself, which Alexei is going to share with you in just a couple of minutes. Next slide. And then how to apply, here's the link. The documentation you will need is and again, I can't highlight it enough, is non-confidential information. So a non-con executive summary. You'll also have the option to upload a non-con pitch deck. And then again, some tips for success, focus on the need, its importance, how you've thought through it becoming a business, really highlight where it's in scope for one of the partners or one of the areas that is called out in the request for proposals. And again, really clearly demonstrate that you're team oriented and coachable. That's a huge part of being successful in moving a startup forward. So it makes sense that we would include that in the review criteria. Next slide. All right, these are the key dates that you want to keep in mind. The entries will close in just under a month. And then finalists will be announced. After that, coaching sessions will begin. And you got to hear from our guests how valuable the coaching was. It's a number of investors throughout the Boston ecosystem and beyond who participate in this. Our legal partner is the one who organizes all the sessions, and they really take it from there. You'll also have an opportunity to meet the partners at these sessions because they're also invited if you're selected as a finalist. And then, of course, deliverables come into play, and then we prepare for the final event, which is quite exciting. So next slide. Good. You want to make sure you register for the in-person event. You can do that right now using this QR code. I think last year we were in the 220s for in-person attendees. So looking to at least match that this year.
It gets more exciting every year.
It does, and give me a second there to use the QR code if you'd like.
Perfect. And you can find this too. It'll be on the M2D2 website and in a lot of outgoing emails. So you can always find the link. But if you ever forget to register, just feel free to reach out.
Perfect. Next slide. Good. Visit our website. All the information is there. Don't hesitate. And if you have any questions, you can see here, just email m2d2@uml.edu. It is read often, so we will get back to you. Good. And then applicants do not give up any equity. We take no equity stake. No affiliation with UMass is required. Travel expenses are not paid. We do expect you, if you're selected as a finalist, to pitch in person. We just feel like it's, of course, like everyone else, we went virtual during COVID, but it's just not as meaningful. So definitely an in-person event at the end. How are finalists selected? I think we pretty much covered that, really being in scope for the solicitation, thinking through the business. Of course, it has to be a true need, which will get confirmed by a number of clinical partners. All stages are welcome to apply. The coaching is really storytelling, getting ready for your pitch. And as I mentioned, you'll have an opportunity to meet partners there. They're also invited, the corporate partners as well, along with a number of investors. There'll be angel investors, VC investors, along with the strategic investors. Yes, you have to attend March 27th in person in Lowell, Massachusetts, on the campus of UMass Lowell. You do not have to relocate to participate in the 200K challenge. We always welcome you to Massachusetts. We think it's the best place to be. So, but certainly not required. And you can see here the link to get more information. So I think you've heard enough from me. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Alexei to take it from here. And really appreciate everyone's attendance. Alexei?
Yeah, thanks, Marianne. Kelsey, if you want to let me share my screen here.
There you go.
So I just want to run through a test application really quickly, show everyone really how easy it is. So it starts here on the m2d2challenge.com website under the 200K challenge. Apply today. You click this link and it will bring you to a page where you create an account on the Accelerator app website. I just skipped that step for this test, but really just takes a second, confirm an email, first and last name. So this is what the actual application itself looks like. At the beginning, you'll see challenge timeline, some FAQs. The most important part are the corporate sponsor areas of interest, all listed out here. So you can take your time, review these, see if you're a good fit for the challenge. Finally, some more FAQs about judging, eligibility, selection criteria. All of this is found on the application itself. So finally, the actual application itself, it just first starts by taking some basic applicant information, your first name, last name, title, email, basic stuff, whether you're from a company, academic institution, the address where your business is located, product name. And then finally, this is where you start showing where, what space your technology is in and where you think you are applicable to our corporate sponsors. So 7 and 8 go over that. It's also important to note, you don't have to do this all in one sitting. After you've created an account, at any point, you can just hit the save button. It'll save where you're at in the application, and you can log in and finish at any time before the deadline of February 11th. So next, executive summary. Describe the need your solution addresses. What is novel about your technology? Has the feasibility of your solution been tested? Fairly basic questions about your company and technology. We want to know about your funding, intellectual property, funds raised, where the funding's coming from, regulatory strategy, solution maturity, reimbursement, and then finally, this is the end, supporting materials where you're not required to, but encouraged to upload videos, pitch decks, or executive summaries. And that's really it. I just ran through the whole application right there. Really doesn't take too long. And as I said, you can come back and finish at any time. So that's the application itself. Kelsey, if you want to share the deck with the link to the application one more time, if you don't mind. So just scan this QR code, get your application started, and we will look forward to reading through your applications. I'll leave this up on the screen and answer some more Q&A in the box at the bottom. But otherwise, thanks for attending, and we look forward to seeing your applications. And thanks again, Molly and Euros, for being here today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Of course, very welcome. All right, so that's all the time we have today. Hopefully you've scanned the link to start your application. And just a reminder, if you have any more questions we didn't address during the program, feel free to email m2d2@uml.edu at any point. We monitor the mailbox constantly, so we'll be getting back in touch with you. So thanks everyone and have a great day.